want to talk about some of the heavy statements, the shocking statements that sometimes Prabhupada makes that sometimes are really difficult to accept, difficult to understand. We ask ourselves, why did Prabhupada say that? It's a tradition amongst gurus of the East that sometimes they say things to shock us, to wake us up, because if they say it nicely, it doesn't always work. They would rather say it nicely, softly, and sweetly. If it works, fine. But sometimes we just don't get it until somebody shakes us up. Did you get it? Did you get it? Okay, yeah, I got it. So we have experience. The material world sometimes shakes us up. We learn lessons that we couldn't learn unless something shook us up. So in the same way, sometimes the words of these spiritual teachers, especially of the East, are meant to shake us up. We don't get it unless they say something very caustic, very heavy, very shocking, almost what we might think sometimes would be vulgar. I have that experience. At one time I was dealing with something very difficult, and I was trying to detach from something that wasn't healthy for me. And it was very difficult to detach from it. And then I was staying with the sannyasi, and we were talking about it, and he described it in a very heavy way. Well, it's just like this. It's just like stool. I forget what he said, but immediately what he said just shook me to my core, and it made so much sense. So when sometimes we see Prabhupada say something, it's really, really heavy, we should understand it may be because he's just trying to make a point. Look stop thinking like this. Stop doing this. It's just like this. And he gives some vulgar example, just like I think it's Raghunath Goswami. He said, pride is like bathing in donkey urine. That's a pretty heavy example. So when I want to be acknowledged by others, then Raghunath Das Goswami is saying that's like bathing in donkey urine. Okay, that helps. Well, maybe for some of you it doesn't, but it's meant to help shake you up and think that's what I'm actually doing. I'm just poisoning myself, contaminating myself. Okay, so this is the paradigm. The other paradigm, which is used in the East, is generalizations. When they speak, they often speak in generalizations. So sometimes you'll hear Prabhupada say something, you'll think, well, how is that true? That's not always true, and it doesn't seem to be true in my particular sphere of influence or in my life. So we in the West tend to be very specific. This person is like this. This situation is like this. We don't say, everyone is stupid. Everything is bad. They're all fools and rascals. That's a more Eastern type of thing. And then sometimes you'll say, meet someone and probably say, oh, he's very intelligent. He's very nice. Or meet a woman. Oh, she was very intelligent. Or you'll say things like, your wife is more intelligent. Or we met a scientist. Oh, he deserves to be proud. He's knowledgeable. We just have to give him Krishna. So you see this difference when Prabhupada's dealing with people, then he's specific about that person. But he may make very broad statements about people in general, which is not about everybody, but it's a generalization. That's more of an Eastern idea. So it's good to understand these things when we hear Prabhupada saying things that maybe don't seem right or make sense to us. Now, there's much more we could say about this, but the last thing I will say is sometimes we don't understand the context from which Prabhupada is coming, and so we misunderstand the statement. And then sometimes we don't understand who Prabhupada is. So when we know who he is, when he makes a statement, we know he doesn't mean exactly what he's saying. It's a tattva. It's just an idea. It's a philosophy. We know that because we're with Prabhupada and we see him. People who don't know him may think, how can he say that? That's racist. That's sexist. That happens sometimes because we don't know the Prabhupada who is not racist and sexist, who would never say something racist and sexist or mean with any would have no ill intent. If he's describing an event or a certain class of people that tend to act in a certain way. It doesn't mean he doesn't like those people. He doesn't want them to become Krishna conscious. It's more of an observation. That's hard for many people because we want to make everybody equal, and spiritually, of course, everyone's equal. An opportunity to live, everyone has a right to live, and so forth. But sometimes Prabhupada is pointing things out which may be hard for us, but he's not pointing it out from a point of, I don't like these people. I hate these people. I'm envious of these people. These people are bad. It's not like that at all. But we need to know who he is. We need to know that's not where his heart is at. And there's so many other contextual aspects to things Prabhupada said. So we shouldn't just jump to conclusions, but we should try to understand these things and speak to those who also can help enlighten us about understanding these things. Hare Krishna.